Hi guys, it's your favorite mystic, TheSirenSayz, and welcome back to my commentary channel where I speak about movie, TV, and soon to come books, and everything I like, dislike, and the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything all throughout and in between those frames of media. We are back. This is not regularly scheduled programming. This is not even Sistas Saturday. I did tell you guys that I would be making videos about what I thought, even character analysis. I told you guys that months ago, and I had a video about Aaron, but my thoughts have evolved since then, so I'm gonna have to redo that entire thing. But today we're talking about my favorite character, Danni. This is not going to be a full in-depth look at her, so I'm not going to be telling you her actual name, last name, everything that I know. It's just my opinion on how she has been taken, and I wanted to really get into it with you guys because I wanted to just explain to those of you who might still like Danni or who might think I'm being a bit harsh in this new coming second half of the season why I am this way. So Danni in the beginning was very underappreciated, slightly underutilized. I won't say she was completely underutilized. We got to see her enough, but she was very much like disrespected in the group, and I definitely just resonated with her. Not necessarily all the way, It's not like we had a lot of things in common. I don't really have that much in common with Danni, actually. But I did resonate with being in a friend group where you're the odd one out for some reason, but also being the wise one in the group. But like I said, we don't really have that much in common, so being the odd one out is probably all we did have in common. But I did want to say that, like, with Danni, I really just felt for her, and I wanted to see her win. I wanted to see her be great. I want to see her be happy. I loved the quips that she would give because she was right. Like 90% of the time when she would tell somebody something, let's muddle it down to 80, because sometimes she just be talking out the side of her neck, and that's a lot. Most girls and sisters don't have that percentage rate of being correct. 80 to 85% of the time she's right, and it's just so annoying because when she's talking to people like Andy and Karen, they would try to make her feel like she's stupid. And it's like, she's not stupid, right? I feel like because she's with them, she feels more comfortable. And with comfortability comes a level of goofiness that may seem unintelligible to people who do not know you. But she's around y'all. I think everybody has had those moments where they were around somebody that they felt comfortable with. You know what I mean? Like, they were around someone they felt comfortable with, and they just felt like, okay, like, I'm with you and I feel comfortable, so I can just say whatever, right? And it's like, no, you can't. Like, really dependent on who you're talking to. Like, you can't, like, you really can't trust yourself around people. And I'm gonna make a video about their friendship because I think it needs to be stated that even though I'm not feeling Danni right now, I still do wish that she would become friends with Fatima. Not because I think Fatima is any better than these girls. We all know that once Tyler Perry starts taking Fatima more seriously, and I'm not gonna watch any more Fatima, guys. I saw a few episodes. It wasn't hitting for me. To be honest with you, if I was to watch Fatima, it would just be for that fine man, Brian, Zach's friend that people are wondering whether or not he should be friends with him. I'd only be watching it for Zach. So yeah, but the show's not good enough. Zach can't even save the show. But if I were to watch, it would only be just to see him, and so I would be bored majority of the time. But with Danni, I just wanted her to be respected. I wanted her to be loved. I wanted her to be understood. And I'm gonna make a video about Sabrina and how toxic of a person she is, because she has such a light tone. We don't really discuss it because she's toxic, and her friendship with Danny is toxic. I've never had a friendship, like a genuine friendship. Yeah, there are some people that you talk to, like you're getting to know them and you might be annoyed here and there, but like years worth of genuine friendship where you're listening to the person and you think they're kind of dumb and you just can't wait to give off your advice, like, huh? That is really why I enjoyed Danni being with Preston. Their dynamic was refreshing. It wasn't like, oh, it's a man of palm colored complexion, I love them together. That's not necessarily what it was about. It was just about the fact that it was different, and I was shocked. Not necessarily completely shocked, because Tyler Perry has done interracial storylines before, but I was just like, ooh, that's what we're gonna get here, because Sistas wasn't giving that. Like, let's just be honest, Sistas was not giving interracial story arcs might be in here. No, it was giving, let's build back the black community, let's bring back black life, like, let's do it. Like, that's what it was giving. And so when they introduced the idea of Preston being a character and him being with Danni, all I could think was, this is nice. This is really nice. Danni has a lot of issues. We heard that she was a boo-booed. And for those of you who are new, a boo-boo is a term I use for ABUSC. Don't forget it, because, you know, YouTube is crazy. But it looks like she was a boo-booed in college. She was probably got a choo-choo ran on her, is what I understood. She has a lot of trauma. And so everything that happened with Jonah, adding on to her trauma, the way that she'll just go crazy with men when she doesn't know how to express her feelings, all of those things. There's an arc in there, Tyler. There's an arc in there. Not an arc where she comes out and becomes like, you know, like a doctor or something. No, but just an arc where she comes out better. Like, why play into the stereotype of the person who's good at giving advice but can't take advice? Like, after a while, there has to be even just a mini arc of her being able to take advice, the right advice, right? Danni is annoying to us now. I'm so annoyed with the fact that now, if I were to like disagree with the girls and the way they treat Danni, somebody could pull up evidence of me hating on Danni now, because you're making me agree with the rest of them. Danni has become a hypocrite, and I don't understand it. I don't see the point of her getting with Tony. I don't see the point. It's kind of very annoying to me, because all the other girls are going to get with men who are of noir complexion, meaning we're going to get the black love experiences with 4 other women, right? Fatima and Zach, because I've given up on that. In Fatima's video, I'll discuss what I would have liked to see in 2 different forms, right? But for right now, we know it's Zach. We know Zach ain't going nowhere, so there's really no use complaining about it. But I will talk about what I would have liked to have seen. Sabrina has a gaggle of niggas. She's just cycling through them like a photo album. Andy got a gaggle of an interesting amount of black men. Danni is the only one that like got a man who is not black, and weirdly enough, she's the one that nobody would have expected to date out. Let's have that conversation as well, right? Because if you expected somebody to date out, it could literally be any of the other girls, Fatima excluded, because I'm not too sure right now. I'll think about it, but Fatima excluded. We could most definitely see Sabrina date out, as long as the white guy was a wigger or left-leaning. Andy, you could see her dating out because of her proximity, right? Her proximity to wealthy men, right? But somehow Andy is managing to find all the men with money who are black. Tyler, be so effing for real. That's not real. Karen, she's a little closer to Danni, like, not sure if she like not black, but maybe she'd have to go through a very specific circumstance, but maybe she could end up being with somebody who wasn't black, perhaps, maybe, you know, but like not Danni. You know what I mean? Not Danni. We don't expect Danni to go through this at all. It's not what we would expect at all. You know, because Danni is the even though she is the wise one, right? She's also the one that through her relationship with Preston, we have seen she's the one to be like, she's the one to see like racism where there is none. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to say it. Like when the country guy called you gal, you know, like he would say to white women, and she saw race in there, you know. And when you, Danni, a certified freak, was talking about handcuffs and stuff, and he handcuffed you, and because you were handcuffed and he was white and he called you gal, you had a whole roots moment. Like, Danni, seeing racism is what I want to call it, racism, where there is none. Because she's the activist, sis. Which is also, I'll give Tyler Perry this, he gave us a little bit of insight into Danni's character. Even though I don't like Logan, her respect for Logan came from the advocacy within his police work, and she started liking him from that place. Like, oh, this black man is protecting the black community, trying to help our black children not get traffic light, you know, I have to say it, I can't say it, traffic light, right? So she respected him from that place. In the beginning, it's like, okay, you figure they would all be pro-black in their dating choices. And here's the thing, Tyler, that's not necessarily a bad thing. If I want to see people date out, I can watch another show. I'm not going to sit here and hate on you for the narrative that you're trying to pull. What I don't like is the counter narrative. The counter narrative being, but there's something wrong with Preston, right? The counter narrative being there's something wrong with Preston and Danni needs to be with a nigga. That doesn't make any sense to me. You could have made an entire show, right, where all they just had was a bunch of black men, right? If that's what you wanted to do, and you have them cycle through and find the best ones for them. But you want to know why Tyler probably didn't do that? Because like he does sometimes, he wants to show black men sometimes in a good light. I know sometimes black men don't feel that way because, you know, the light skin versus dark skin debate, but that's colorism, honey. That doesn't have anything to do with the way that y'all behave, because light or dark, sometimes y'all can behave the same between the types of men. However, it didn't work because for some reason you made Preston the best man in the show up until season 6. Let's just be honest, okay? Even when Danni was upset with him and said there was too many racial disparities and blah blah blah, some things she was right about, right? He was naive to certain things, but there were other times where she was using it as an excuse to leave and she was seeing racism where there was none. Two things can be true at the same time. But I feel like it would have been deeper as a show, especially if Dan's going to end up with somebody who is not Preston, okay? Don't put him in there. I know some people will be like, well, I think it's realistic for him to put it in there so that, you know, black women can know they have options, or because nowadays black women are dating out. Even if they don't end up marrying that man, they might try one. I don't need to see that. I do not need to see that. Now, I don't need the writing to be on the level of Queen Charlotte of Bridgerton, okay? I'm not asking Tyler Perry to dig deep into his romance bag and give me moments like that, okay? I don't need a Venus moment, okay? I'm not asking Tyler Perry to do that much. I'm not being unreasonable. But what I would like is to not be annoyed by the idea of something very interesting just to go back to something boring. Let's get into the dating history, shall we? Shall we? Before she meets Preston, all we hear is that Danni has had a gaggle of unsuccessful relationships. I'm kind of impressed because I'm surprised she's not a baby mother. Because some of the men she was messing with, Danni must know how to use contraception. Then she meets Preston. It's awkward. I saw a video the other day where people were like putting together some stills of like her and Preston's first moments, and I felt something. This is how I know that they were a decent couple. And guys, I'm gonna be honest again, I prefer couplings with people who are more alike. I know, right? The way I be talking about Danni and Preston, you would think that I don't like that, but I do actually. I prefer it actually. And I do think that Danni could find a white guy who likes hip hop and smoking. There are lots of men of palm colored complexion who like hip hop and smoking, but Tyler didn't want to make it easy for us. He didn't. And I thought he didn't want to make it easy for us because he wanted to make, as deep as he could, a deep relationship where she had to come out of herself to make love work. You make love because you make love work. Not me quoting American Pie Wedding, but you know, points are made in that movie. She gets with Preston. The bedroom stuff was good, apart from the whips and chains. As long as they keep it simple, it's incredible. Okay, Preston be blowing the back out. He be giving her combos. You remember both of them saying at some point that sex was never their problem, and I thought, whew, aren't you lucky? That's not you don't gotta worry about that. It's everything outside that keeps derailing their relationship. Now, why am I bringing this up so much? Because after a while, Danni stopped being her own character and became her circumstances, which ended up being the men that she was with. One of the reasons that her and Preston was interesting is because you saw her personality and her as a person collide with Preston's, and what formed from that was interesting to watch. After her and Preston, in my opinion, broke up the first time, and then they started going back and forth. This is before Preston took Zach's dumb advice, where she just started like, I don't know about Preston, I don't know. That was when everything just kind of went downhill. Danni ended up getting less respect from her friends than she had initially. Now they could call her out. When she was trying to call them out on relationship, they could call her out because she wasn't taking Preston seriously. Now, one of the reasons why I do like her and Preston together, even though they don't seem to have a lot in common, is because if you don't have a lot in common with somebody in a TV show, what you do to get me interested, you make them better with the relationship. What does that mean, right? Okay, I prefer if they have stuff in common because I think that's really cute interactions and it makes building a relationship easier. And then you can make the issue that they have be the 3 things that they don't have in common in comparison to the 20 things that they do. Okay, cool. Those 3 things could make or break a relationship. Let's see how they come through with that, or how they use the other 20 things that they do have in common to strengthen the 3 that they don't, and use their differences to come together. But when you don't have anything in common except the fact that you are sexually compatible, what ends up happening, if you want it to still be a good relationship, is that you end up having to, in my personal opinion, this is all my opinion, you end up having to write characters that make each other better by being together despite differences. And Preston was doing that for her. She made Preston smarter. You could see that in the point where Preston was like, yes, I want to be with you. Do you want to be with me? They were having really mature conversations. I will admit that before, even though they were really cute, it was a little immature because Preston just did not know so much. And I'm not going to say that Preston is completely unscathed. He used Mindy, that was not cool. He used Tanya, the veterinarian, that was not cool. But we're talking about Danni right now. I'm making a video about Preston a little bit later. So, they were a little bit immature in the beginning, right? Which also compounds that the sex was only thing that was good. That's a little immature. Later on, they got more mature. They were able to talk things out a little better. But did Tyler Perry see that as a good thing? He was like, flip that character development. Next man. I don't see why he did that. Because what he did was he made them make each other better. Whenever she decided to give Preston a chance, even before now, it was noticeable. She was calmer. She drank a little less. She was more level-headed. The girls couldn't talk back to her as quickly as they usually would, because she would just be even more on 10 with her wisdom nuggets. Right? This is when she is more aligned with Preston. When her and Preston are doing good, that is how positively it would normally affect her. When she's not with Preston and she's trying to get with niggas and she's spiraling. I remember when this last few gaggle of niggas and everything started going bad, especially after Jonah. Get that nigga out of here, bro. I kept thinking, what's the point of seeing her suffer like this? I don't want to see her suffer like this. And she was suffering heavy. But what it looked like Tyler was trying to say is, she is spiraling, right? Sleeping with all these men because she misses Preston and she doesn't want to be wrong and she doesn't want to apologize. And so instead of that, she's just going to drink her feelings away, smoke her feelings away, F her feelings away. I took that because to me it meant that her and Preston were endgame and she's going to go through all of this nonsense and I'm going to hate it. But then they're going to come back together and they're going to make it through. But then here comes Tony. Let's discuss Tony for a little minute, right? I don't really like him. I don't. I think he's boring and cringy. But they have two things in common. Sorry, three. They have three things in common. That drank, that split, and that bass. They like the same music. They'll drink and they like to do that Spider-Man Mary Jane. Okay? That's all they have in common. And I guess they have banter. I don't really think they have banter, but I guess that's what Tyler Perry was trying to quantify, that thing that happened at the airport. Here's why I don't appreciate them. Because they don't have enough in common to get me swayed. They just don't. It's not giving that Danni will be a better person just because she's with Tony. It's just giving that her little girl dream of being with a decent man of noir complexion will be fulfilled. And I can't relate to that. I don't really care about that. And also, you haven't allowed me to care about that. I don't care about that in real life. I'm sorry guys, personal opinion, I don't care about, ooh, I need noir love. Like, I don't really care about that. So in order for you to get me to care about that, you have to get me to care about the coupling. I can't care about the concept, but I can care about the couple. But I don't care about this couple. So the only positivity that I can see from this is her getting her wish fulfillment of noir love. That's not enough for me, personally. I'm just saying. I feel like it's really weird that she's doing this. I don't understand why she's doing this. Only because you just went out there and had 3 different flavors of niggas before you went back to Preston. Why are you so eagerly wanting to give this flavor of ice cream a try, Danni? You had just gotten a boo-booed by Jonah, right? You were used by Logan, right? I don't think there was a big issue with IT Stripper, but you tapped into your Sabrina side and you got judgmental, right? Because of what he had to do to build the money to get his business. And now you're here with just some guy from the airport. And he's not that great of a guy because he's willing to take you from somebody else. Tyler, where are the respectful niggas at? Right? Since you want me to like these new men so much. Where's the respect? Do you know how much, I want to have to fight. I want to have to fight to dislike Tony. Make it be where people can come into my comment section and fight me for Tony. He told her he was interested, but he's respecting their relationship. He's not even trying to talk to her like that. He's a really good guy. I want him to be able to fight me, but they can't fight me. This man is over here trying to get Danni to cheat on Preston. Now, I know some of you will say, he's trying to get her to leave Preston. Yeah, but then he'll bring up Preston, or Danni will bring up Preston to stop him from going too far in conversation or action. So that means to me that if Danni were to kiss him, he wouldn't object. He would just ask her about Preston afterwards and say, I thought you were with Preston. Tony's not interesting to me. He's not a good guy to me. And he doesn't have to be a good guy. But you're not going to give me a sleazeball who at least he isn't a boo-boo-ish. At least he isn't a boo-boo-er against Preston. Tyler, come on. If you want somebody to like overthrow Preston, give me the big guns. Give me the big guns. I know Tony is fine to some people. He not that fine to me. He not ugly. He not ugly. He's not ugly. But he not finer than Preston. You couldn't find somebody better looking than Preston, better morals than better money, at least better money. Like I said before, when they get together and she asks this man for money, how much he got? He work at the airport same as she does. This man ain't got no money. She's literally just dating him because he's black. And because noir women have this misconception. Let me not say misconception. They trump up the idea of teaching. Ladies, let me tell you something right now. Any man you get with, you're going to teach him something. Any man you get with, you're going to have to teach him something. I'm Jamaican. I live on an island, right? Which means I see mixed guys all the time and black guys. Okay? Black men do not know more about you to the point where you don't have to teach them anything. Like, oh, I'm going to be completely comfortable. I ain't got to explain nothing. Oh, so you don't have to explain anything? Does that mean you are a black man? Because that's the only way in which your behavior, your day-to-day, your hobbies won't have to be explained. Okay, so Daddy can smoke and drink and Tony won't ask her, oh, what got you into, you know, the stuff that Preston would ask. Oh, you like doing that? Oh, what does it feel like? Just basic questions. I don't want to hear, no, Preston had a personal space problem. All the niggas got that except Zach. Zach is the only one who would knock on doors. We're not going to talk about Zach's femininity, but yeah, Zach is the only one who understood boundaries in that show. Every other man, some of which y'all actually like, acted like Preston in terms of just walking into places, calling up at weird hours. They all do that, which is why I had to call myself out when I was calling Tony a weirdo for being a little stalkerish, because all of them do that. It's the romantic comedy stalking that Tyler likes to employ in these shows. Yes, I do call myself out because I hate hypocrisy. But to me, I feel like Tyler, you know, you could have left Danni single for a little bit, worked on her character, built her up, help her get through her trauma. Why is Zach in therapy and Danni is not? And Danni is a main character, god darn it. She's a main character. She needs therapy. And this is not me saying she needs therapy so you can get with Preston. But I don't even know enough about her to say, oh, her and Tony would be so good. Her and Tony just look good to the people who care about the noir aesthetic. But everything that could have been there with her and Preston, it wasn't even like it was a traditional relationship with her and Preston. Preston was paying for her stuff and cooking for her. She ain't even cooked for Preston once. The whole 6 years I've been watching this show, she ain't cooked for that nigga one time. All she had to do was teach it to be a little more like, calm it down a little when you're around black people. And he did that. Let me tell you this again. Women of the noir complexion, dating out, you're not going to have to teach men more than you would teach your men. I know black men who don't understand the bonnet thing. Yes. I know black men who are colorist, and black men who are colorist don't understand certain things about women as well. All men are going to have to be taught to how to be with you because you are not a monolith. All of you are different, and because all of you are different, there are going to be little things about you that add up to your character that you're going to have to teach somebody. No one's going to understand you off the bat. I wish I had that. There were times when I was like, oh my god, I just want somebody who understands me. Guys, her and Preston is not going to work out. But her character is just done for me either way because I don't like hypocrisy. I wish Tyler would have done more with her. She deserves more. Can't believe I spoke for half an hour, but it is what it is. She was my favorite character, so you know, I had a lot of thoughts. Please let me know what you think down below. Do you agree or disagree? Please be respectful, because I was as respectful as I could have been when it came to Danni. Maybe Tyler Perry will have me change my mind about her, but it is what it is at this point. Justice for Preston and justice for Tanya. We're gonna get into that in another video when I speak about Preston. Tell me which other characters you would like for me to speak about. Please let it be somebody that I know of. Please don't make it be a side person, because if it's a side person, they're just going to be in somebody else's video. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoy these style of videos, just my thoughts on these characters. Goodbye, my sires. Sue.